fact. Oh,
You gonna keep that at the beginning?
I probably am. It's embarrassing, don't you know? Just falling to that couch. Oh, man. All right.
All right.
Hello, everybody.
Hi there.
Welcome to Boozie Bears Knitting Podcast, episode 3.
We both did that correctly.
Oh, look at us.
We know our number fingers.
We're the professionals there, don't you
well,
know?
let's not get crazy with it. You know. We like to think we're professional, but
Well, you know. As always, I'm Justin,
And I am Vince.
and I think they get it at this point,
I
but
think they get it.
we're not married.
We're not
you know,
married. We're not
just
boyfriends.
We're just
yeah.
drunks.
We
We're just
find
drunks
each
that knit.
other's jackassery amusing, and it works like that. So.
And apparently you guys do too, because we have like 120 subscribers already.
Yes, they like what we're doing. They
Did you see
find
that?
us.
I didn't say followers.
I know. I'm very proud of you. It's that professionalism that we're working on.
I'd like to thank
So-
the Academy.
So, episode 3. Look at us.
Look at us. We're just
No.
moving and grooving right along.
You know, it's always the day after we film a episode that we're like, oh, let's do another one.
Yeah.
then when it's published, we're like, yeah, I can wait in another 2 weeks. So okay. So, that's about it. What is our beverage for
Ooh.
today?
So we have these, sassy glasses here.
Sassy.
It says, "I'm so gay I can't even think straight."
Thinking alone.
So it's my take on a screwdriver. I call it a fizzy screwdriver because it's fizzy. It's orange soda and vodka. Very simple, very refreshing, very delightful.
Yes, it's so refreshing.
So refreshing. That's why we drink them.
That way we don't get parched.
Yes.
Well, that's why the Nasty Knitter
It's so
cocktail is
refreshing.
which this being orange soda, this is a little sweeter. The Polar Dry just isn't as sweet, which is I kind of like that. But this is right up there with it. It's, are we getting paid? Notice I'm not like saying, oh, I don't want this, don't. You drink it, you know. So
Anyways,
on with the show. This is it.
let's go on with the show.
I was thinking of the Saturday Bugs Bunny cartoons. Okay, I'll send you the link.
Listen, I'm not that young. I know what you're talking about. I just can't remember it.
Moving on.
Moving on, swiftly and professionally.
So yes. So again, episode 3. We're in late October. Halloween is this Saturday. Ooh. Don't know what we're going to be getting for trick-or-treaters. We've bought candy, and I bought those little Ziploc snack bags. So I'm going to go and put like 4 or 5 pieces because the bag I got was like the really tiny ones.
Yeah.
Not the fun size, the mini ones. And I think there's 250 pieces. So I figured 5 in a bag, I'll Ziploc them
5
all.
in the bag, 5 in my bowl.
You know.
5 in the bag, 5 in my bowl.
Something like that. I'll sit out on the front steps with my Hufflepuff mask on. I might even wear some Hufflepuff styled hand knits. And, with my hand sanitizer and, whoever shows up, shows up. Because if we didn't get anything, people would be pounding on the door all night long. That happened to me one year. I got all this candy, and I even told the next door neighbor, bring the kids over. I had maybe 5 people show up. So every day, after that, following week, every day I was going to work with a Ziploc sack of candy. Because I had $30, $40 worth of candy. I worked second shift, and by 8 p.m. we were all on a sugar high. Sitting at our desks with a Tootsie Roll Pop and our legs shaking. Lots of fun. Yes. So So that's all for Halloween. We'll see what happens this Saturday.
I mean, I know what I'll be doing. I'll be at work.
Fun with the crazies coming in. Hopefully not.
And it's a full moon.
Well, you get the loonies as it is.
Good Lord.
So let's get on to the subject of knitting.
Knitting, is that why they're here?
Because that's why we're here.
That's why we're here.
We're here. Our works in progress, aka the whips. So, what you got?
What I got?
What you got?
What I got. So
I'm parched.
I can tell. So I showed this last time, sort of by happenstance. And I said that I was going to get working on it, and I did. This is my Loxley by Stephen West.
The Stephen West.
And I've gotten a lot more.
That's a good amount.
A lot more of the first side done.
The scarf part it's a lot of knitting, and it's a lot of garter stitch.
I almost considered at one point going, yeah, that's long enough, and just ending it there. But I'm gonna do it to the pattern. I'm not gonna.
What will happen is you'll do it short, and then you'll try it on and go, oh, these are really too short. I wish I made these long.
And I mean, it's not like I'm gonna run out of yarn, because like I still have that much left there, and got a whole nother one here.
Yeah. So, and it'll look nicer and be much more wearable.
Oh, absolutely.
With the long scarf part.
Absolutely.
So, just keep on keeping on with it.
So that's the Loxley by Stephen West. Hopefully I'll get a chance to work on it by next episode. I have a couple commission items I'm working on right now, and then a couple gift items. So it's sort of gone back to the back burner, but it's not all the way back. I can pull it back at any time.
Child is interested in my sneaker.
Yeah.
Well, I did not bring it with me, but my current whip is still the wonderful Wallaby. We have made a great deal of progress on it. The yoke is finished, and I have started the hood. So I've got about half of the hood knit.
There is a picture we have, and I'll put it up here.
We'll put that up here. You might have seen it on our Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah.
I did the old, okay, let me try this on, and I'm very happy with the fit.
Yeah, it did look great.
I do not regret starting the body over, because the original body would have been ginormous on me, and I would have hated it, and then would have had to rip out even more than I did that first time. So I'm much happier with this, and hopefully by next episode, knock wood, I will have a completed Loxley. Completed. A completed wonderful Wallaby.
It's got that old timers disease.
You know, it's like I need another sip of bevy.
There's too much blood in your alcohol system right now.
So,
it's back to me now then.
What are you working on?
Back to me now, Darden. So as far as the works in progress there, though, yeah, well, crap. Oh, over there. There it is. I found it.
Those high organizational skills.
You know. It's in my Grocery Girls Muffy the Beaver tote, which has become my go-to take knitting to work bag.
Okay.
So,
because it is such a far.
Well, you know, it is, and you know, I couldn't take a risk of, you know, losing something on the way there.
Absolutely.
So I'm making, per my friend's request, who is like I said, the commission projects I'm working on, I am making a Yes Checks hat again. The yarn that I'm using for this is Knit Picks Chroma, which is a, hold on, I have another ball of it here somewhere. Stand by.
Stand by.
It is It's a worsted weight yarn, but it is 70% superwash and 30% nylon. And this colorway is called Cousteau. So I really like it. It goes from like the almost black to, you know, these blues and the super light blues, greens. It works really well with this pattern. I thought that it was gonna...
It does a long gradation.
Yes.
So the gradation is very faded and not, you know, stark.
And I honestly, because I wasn't sure exactly what it was gonna do, so I was worried that it might hide the, you know, the texture of the hat a little bit, but it actually works really well. But that's coming along pretty well. I have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm on the 8th repeat out of, I believe it's 11 before you start the, yeah, it's 11 before you start the decreases. I've made this hat a couple times, you know.
It's become one of our favorites. I've made several.
So that I probably won't have it with me because I'll probably give it to him by the time the next episode comes around. But I'll make sure that I take a bunch of pictures and we'll share them on Instagram, and I'm sure I'll talk about it next episode as a finished object. So that's that.
Very good. So my latest whip, it's been giving me issues with colors. Next week would be when we would be going to the Great Lakes Men's Knitting Retreat.
Ding.
But unfortunately, because of COVID and everything, we decided to cancel for this year, so we won't be going, which is very sad.
We are gonna do I believe we're planning to do like
a virtual
spend a few hours on Saturday.
And I'm sure we'll be jabbering with each other throughout the long weekend like we normally would.
Yep.
We have a Facebook Messenger group, and we can get pretty chatty every now and then.
Yes.
So traditionally, during that weekend is when I would make the purchase and start the project for Mom's Christmas scarf, because I make Mom a Christmas scarf every year. She is very knit-worthy. She wears everything that I make for her, and she brags about it to all of her friends. So what else could you do? So since we weren't going to be at the yarn shop for Thursday night, I said, well, I'll just stash dive. And I did get some really nice yarn at the Knitting Guild of Greater Buffalo's yarn auction. I know I showed it in the first episode. And I said, ooh, that would work really nice. This would be my main color. And I've made a couple attempts, and I just haven't liked how it's worked out with the other colors. I'm going to be making Stevens West's clockwork, which I've made a couple times and have not had this issue. Mom's colors, she's good with pinks and corals. Those look good on her. So I had some bright pink sock yarn, and I paired it with it, and it was just matching way too well with the pink and the gradation. You couldn't see the striping. So I'm like, I'm not liking this. So I ripped that back, and I found some Malabrigo. It was black. I said, well, it'll be a stark contrast. I did a few rows of the stripes, and you can't see the stripes of this. And as Steven says, this is the star. And the other yarn was just overpowering it. So I've ripped it out again and rewound it. I dug through my stash. I have a couple of yarns I'm going to try with. I'm going to do the interesting thing and swatch first, because I figure it should be a neutral, it should be a solid, and I don't want it overpowering the multicolor. So I have this brown alpaca, which I have used for the clockwork before. This gray Patton's Croix, I've used this before. It does, for fingering weight sock yarn, it is a little heavier, so this might not work. And if worse comes to worse, just plain bare natural sock yarn. Another thing that we discussed, I bounced this idea off Justin, is The striping is a 2-row garter stitch stripe. So it's 2 of the main, 2 of the contrast. I may switch it to 4 rows of the main and 2 rows of the contrast. That way, I have a lot of this, so why not? And that way this really shines in the finished piece. So I will be doing some swatching. That way I won't be ripping out another one for the 3rd time saying I don't like this. Because it makes me sad when I do that. So that is that. Is that all your whips? Or at least the whips you plan to show today. Because, you know, whips, you know.
I didn't really work on that enough. I worked that on a little bit last night. So since it'll be a good transition. These are technically works in progress, I would suppose. So speaking of swatching, I have 2 sweater patterns that I've picked out lately that I want to make. One of them is the tried and true. Lots of people have made it, and I am going to as well. It's the Flax by Tin Can Knits, and so the commission that I was talking about is a friend of mine. He wanted a hat and scarf. So we were looking at yarn. We ended up on the Knit Picks website, and he had picked out the yarn that he wanted, added it all to his cart. Then we realized he didn't have enough yet for their free shipping. So he said, is there any yarn that you want that we could add to it to get the free shipping? And I'm like, yeah, sure, let me look, whatever. And it dawned on me, this would be the perfect time to get a sweater's quantity of yarn. So I picked out, it's Knit Picks Wool of the Andes. This colorway is called Delft Heather. It's a heathered sort of, I don't know what you call it.
It's heathered navy blue almost.
Yeah, like almost
it's
a navy
blue.
blue. Yeah. It's really pretty. Like, I don't think you can. Yeah. Oh, there we go. That shows it much better. That shows the heathering there. It's actually much softer than I thought it was going to be.
They have improved the wool of the Andes from when they first started.
I mean, for $2.50 for a 50-gram ball,
it is very inexpensive.
Like, that's amazing. So that is going to be the Flax. The I know my stitch gauge came out well. The row gauge is, I think, I can't remember if there's too many rows in 4 inches or what, but you know what? That's easy to deal with.
Your swatch does look a little bit taller than wider, but you know what? Stitch gauge is much more important. It's you're not doing color work, so you'll just knit to the length.
Exactly.
So,
and that's basically the way the pattern works, anyways.
Yeah.
And then, so the same day that I got this, that's another story with all these. So the same day that our Knit Picks yarn came in, we had a big box of yarn, and
heavens.
All right. So, as I was saying before, I was so rudely interrupted by a cat trying to, eat everything. The same day that our Knit Picks yarn came in, I think I've talked about my no smoking yarn on a previous episode from our friend Matthew. So I actually got the package with that yarn in it. Oh gosh, now they're gonna fight. I can't win with these cats. But he sent me an entire box. It was just jammed full of, find it, this yarn right here. This is Knitcol, Knitcol. I believe, let's see, made in Italy. It is 100% Virgin Marine. Wait, what? No. Superwash Merino. There we go. That's what I was looking for. So it's 100% superwash merino. It's a DK weight. So I wasn't sure that it was going to work for the sweater that I wanted to make, which is, was right there. The Montrealer. The Montrealer is the sweater that I want to make, which is very similar to the wonderful Wallaby that Vince is making, except it is a top-down sweater. So I can hopefully avoid some of the issues that Vince ran into with sizing, because I'll be able to, try it on a little bit easier. So last Wednesday at our knit night, I forgot to bring an actual project, so all I did was finish this swatch and then played on my phone. But I finished the swatch. It actually came out really well. It came out to gauge with the needles. It is not too loose of a fabric. Like, there's definitely more, more air between the stitches than there is in this one. But I mean, it makes such a nice soft fabric, and it'll be a nice light sweater.
It's a good drape of fabric.
Mm-hmm. It'll be a nice light sweater to wear over, like a, I don't know, you wear like maybe a long sleeve shirt underneath it, or a dress, or God, even like to wear over like a polo or something like that.
Plus, I never wear sweaters against bare skin. I always have at least a t-shirt or some kind of shirt underneath it.
Oh yeah, even with as nice as that wool of the Andes is, that would get itchy after a while, when you start to sweat.
And then if you do get warm, you can pull the sweater off and have something in it. People who just wear hand knits against bare skin, I'm like, I don't get you. I could not do that.
Or the guy in the one group on Facebook that tried on his work in progress sweater, and he was completely in the buff.
Yeah. Shocking. So, my finished objects, I have a couple. A friend of ours, his parents lost their home due to the fires in Colorado, and so they kind of lost everything, including all the hand knits he made for them over the years. And it's Colorado, winter's approaching, it's going to be cold.
It's already there.
So we're like, they need some knits. So I decided it's the Ross hat. And I've had this yarn in my stash and loved how it came out on this. It is, what do we have here? It is Mountain Meadow Wool, and the color is called Mountain Meadow Wool Larrabee. It is Buckaroo Birthday. That's this multicolor. And then this teal. And I liked it so much, I had more of it. So I'm gonna make a Ross hat for myself because I like how this came out. It looks really nice. So I'm thinking, this is for his father, so I think Dad will like it. And I made a cowl to go with it. And this, I just took a size guess and did a 6/6 garter rib. So it's 6 stitches of stockinette, 6 stitches of garter, and it'll be a nice hat and cowl for Dad.
Look at
keep
you.
him warm and toasty.
You look so,
you know,
you look so toasty.
Toasty woasty. So very happy with this. I had bought this at the Rocky Mountain Retreat several years ago.
Picture
when I
in
was
Sicily.
Yeah. And I liked the yarn, and I made something with it, and it just didn't come out to my liking. I was like, I don't like how this looks. I won't be happy with the finished project. So I frogged it. So when I was searching for yarn, I'm like, oh, I want to use good yarn. I don't want to use cheap stuff. I don't want to use, my 4-ply cashmere, but I wanted something nice. And I said, this will look good. And I made the hat, and I'm like, this came out so nice. So I'll be making one for myself as well.
Oh, back to me.
Back to you.
And back to me.
Back to you.
All right. Same story as he was just telling you about our friend Matthew. We all were sort of... Oh, gotta fix that. Well, we all decided to chip in and try to make a few different things. I decided to try my hand at making mittens, since that was something I hadn't done before. And I found a new favorite thing to knit because it just works up so quickly and is simple, yet you have to pay attention to it because you have to measure it, and you have to make them the same.
And you have to make 2 of them.
But I didn't get second mitten syndrome like you get second sock syndrome.
That's good.
So we've got.
You were
that
also
going
kind
for
of
us.
enjoying it a whole
I
lot.
really was. So this is my first ever pair of mittens. That color looks a little different on camera. But you can see it's a variegated yarn. It's got some blues and some like pinky purples. It's really pretty yarn. That one, because I have the tag right here. It's actually, when I talked about the Graham hat in a previous episode, it's the same yarn, only a few colorways off. This is colorway 302, that one was 306. And it's the Acho yarn by Mirasol Yarns out of Peru, I believe. Yes, out of Peru. So those will be, once I finish, these are the finished ones for his mother because she likes purple. And his dad is more of like a blue-green turquoise. Yeah. And so I actually found that I had one more ball of that same yarn in the colors that I used for the hat. So I'm going to make a couple little mittens for his dad out of this. So those should be done. It only took me maybe 3 days total, I think, to make the entire pair of mittens. Yeah. So these should be...
Especially if they've been your first time making mittens.
Yeah. I mean, it's so easy. And the pattern that I used was not an easy pattern to follow. I was kind of proud of myself in following that because it was... I thought I had it here, but I guess I don't. I must have put it away, but it was just like a complicated pattern, but the thing is, it's also an old pattern. It's from an old pattern book that's not even published anymore. And somebody graciously put it on their website for free so that you could use it. So I can't complain too much. It's a free pattern.
Those old patterns,
It worked.
assume you know many things about
Exactly.
knitting.
Like it was a lot of, it tells you to knit this many rounds. And you're like, okay, great. You start knitting those rounds, you get those rounds done, and you look down at the pattern and it goes, decreasing by 2 stitches in the last round. It's on a completely different line. It's like...
That's why you read the entire pattern.
So, I mean, after making that mistake a couple times, I was like, no. I'm like, I put the project down, and I'm like going down through, I'm like, okay, there's a decrease there, and I like circled it, and I said, yeah, like we're not making that mistake the next time. The next ones should go even faster. But that's my mittens.
Okay. And since I made a hat and cowl for Dad, so I've made a hat and cowl for Mom. This is the Barley hat from Tin Can Knits. I've made several of them. It's an easy pattern. It's a pattern I love.
That makes such a nice hat too.
Yes, it looks really nice. Mom's favorite color is purple, so I'm like, I knew I had a skein of purple yarn. Yeah, it'll go
Ooh, it'll go really well.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And this is just Patton's Classic Wool. So it's like I knew I had it somewhere, and I'm like, I found it. So I did that, and then I just did a little cowl, doing a spiral rib, and I decided to do garter at the start and finish so that it rolls, kind of like an I-cord, but without doing an I-cord. That takes a lot to want to do. So I'm very happy with how these both came out. And
Very nice.
once your second set of mittens are done, we will send those out, and we have one guy who is the point person. We're sending everything to him, and he's going to send the big package of all of the stuff. So that is that.
It's your
So
finished object. I do have one other finished object that is not here. It was the teddy bear that I showed in the last episode as a work in progress. I did finish it. Insert photograph here. But the day that I finished it, my parents and my sister were actually here for her baby shower that was down the street. And we had dinner that night, and I gave it to her and her husband. So they were absolutely thrilled with it. My mother absolutely loved it. Everybody keeps telling me I should sell them now, but you know, that kind of turns a hobby into a job.
And people would never pay you what it was worth.
Oh, I told somebody, I was like, I don't care that they're made out of, you know, Bernat blanket yarn. They're gonna pay me like they're made out of cashmere, because they're a pain in the badonkadonk to make.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's that.
That, like I said, there'll be a picture.
Okay. So we're all done with finished objects.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to the return of vintage knitting.
Oh boy.
Because everyone seemed to find it very amusing last time, and I still have quite a few. I was a sweater knitter. So this one I had been knitting for a couple of years, maybe 2 or 3, and you know, like I said, I was making sweaters, and you always buy lots of yarn. You want to make sure you have extra. So I had lots of leftover partial balls of yarn. And I kept looking at them, and I'm like talking to the yarn store owner, you know what? I should like make a patchwork sweater just out of all my leftovers. And being the enabler that she was, she thought that was a great idea. She always had us hook, line, and sinker. So I figured I would just use a basic sweater pattern for my sizing. And we kind of agreed I should, you know, get a couple skeins of a base. That'll just be what holds everything together.
And that's how she got him, hook, line, and
Hook,
sinker.
line, because she knew she'd get a sale out of it. And so I did that, and then I just, you know, cast on. I sort of had an idea of what I wanted, but I kind of just made it up as I went along. And here we have it. Of course, I can't see the camera, so I don't know how much is showing. As you can see, it is a multitude of thought and idea, and I will honestly say I loved this sweater. It was the 80s, and I wore it often.
Did you saw that sleeve detail over there?
That sleeve detail, the black mohair cable.
Oh, mohair.
A mohair cable along the sleeve.
Oh,
and of course the other sleeve did not match, and we did some like pattern work, some pattern stitch, and just graphic. It was the 80s. Graphic sweaters were the big thing. We do have a picture of me wearing
Yes.
this beauty, and I just loved it. Like I said, I wore the heck out of it. It was one of my favorite
He
sweaters
still wears it at
to
home.
wear. It's cozy, but not quite comfy. You know, I might have been a bit more slender in those days, and it does have the issue that I always had was it is a little short. Top up sweaters, you know, bottom up sweaters always tended to be a little short. I was never good at figuring that measurement. So, but it was quite festive and fun, and it's one of those things I take it out and look at it and think, what was I thinking? And there's just little bits of so many different sweaters in here. But this was my creation. A true original.
How perfect for Halloween though. It was your Frankenstein.
You know,
Your Franken sweater.
little bit of this and a little bit of that. So I think we're going to continue with vintage knits. Like I said, I have a few more. I'll have to dig through the sweater drawers, and I think we've seen the top two.
I couldn't imagine it getting any better.
Yeah, this one is like, you know, I don't know how I'm gonna surpass this one. So I don't think we'll see anything more horrific.
No more mohair cables.
No more hair cables. It was quite festive. So that is all for vintage knits. Now, acquisitions.
Acquisition.
Do you have anything for
I still
acquisition?
have an acquisition.
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 Zut alors.
Oh, booba looba looba. Where is it? There it is. Oh wait, no. I just remembered I talked about that in the last episode.
Oh, wow.
Son of a biscuit. So I talked about my Knitter's Pride interchangeable set in the last episode.
Yes, you had just got them.
Yes. I think just that day,
I
actually.
think so.
Yeah. So I went back on Amazon because I realized that there were a few things missing that my other interchangeable set had that this one didn't come with. First of all being the cord connectors, so you can connect more than one cord at a time. So I found those, but they also came in a set with two of these. These are 8-inch cords that when put together with the needles make a 16-inch circular. Don't know how much I would want to knit on a 16-inch circular that 8 inches of it is needles. That might be a little on the difficult side, but they're good for adding if you need just a little bit more length if you need a little bit more length, or you put the two of them together. And either way, it was,
I'm sure you'll find something to do with it.
it was something along the lines of, I think, $11 for all three of these things. So it was a good deal. It's stuff that I'll use. But yeah.
Well, my acquisition, someone is an enabler. And I saw what they had, and then it was Amazon Prime Day. So I went on Amazon and I ordered the blocking mats. They came in last week, and it's the mats and a little box of T-pins, and I'm just ready to be a blocking machine. So
He gonna be a blocking fool.
a blacking and a schmacking. So that'll come in quite handy, I'm sure, when my wallaby is ready to be blocked.
Yes.
So,
Because there's plenty of blocks there to
yes,
spread it out on.
there's nine blocks. So It'll be
I thought there was
festive.
10.
Oh, there's 9.
Oh,
There's 9. You could even say it.
Sons of Biscuits. I don't know. See how well I pay attention to the things that I get.
Yeah.
But, so let's see here. I do have one more thing that I didn't show because I didn't talk about it yet. Technically, I have 2 more things, but I'm not sure where the other one is right now. I had it before. I don't know what I did with it.
So colorful.
Oh.
Still in the Sally
Still in the
thing.
wrapper because I didn't use this one yet. So I bought a nice cone of Lily Sugar and Cream to make some Christmas dishcloths with because, you know, I don't know what I'm doing right now. So I'm going to make, I decided this year was going to be a dishcloth Christmas. This colorway, I look at it as being a patriotic colorway. It's lots of red, white, and blue type of stuff there. Let's see what is it actually called? It's called nautical ombre.
Ooh.
It's very
Fancy.
nautical,
Fancy.
naughty even, if you will. Yeah. Let's see. Oh no, that's not it. Oh, I know where it is. It's in this bag. And then this is the other one. Don't, for the life of me, remember what this name is. Wait a minute. Got it.
Looky there.
This one was Freshly Pressed is what this one's called. And honestly, when I bought it, I didn't think I was going to love it that much. But I was like, it's $10 for the cone. I'm sure somebody will like it when I gift it. I knit up 1 dishcloth in it. Hold on. Stand by.
And he's off to find the dishcloth.
I know exactly where it is. And back. So, this is the way that it knits up. I actually kind of love it. Like, it came out really pretty. I mean, I always love working with sugar and cream. I tend to, and that's just a grandma's favorite dishcloth.
Very nice.
Free pattern on Ravelry. It's very simple, but yeah, I think that is all that I have acquisitioned
Yeah, that is all for
this
me.
time around.
I got nothing else.
Mine.
So, I think that is it for episode 3.
Oh wait.
Did you find something?
Let me stop you.
Oh, what'd you find?
I found the hat that I probably talked about 3 times in this episode. I
Probably,
think.
and I was wondering why you weren't showing it. I'm like, where is that hat?
Well, so the last episode I showed the Graham hat that I was working on for my brother for Christmas. And it's made out of that Acho yarn that I'm going to make the mittens out of. And it is done. So, like I said, that's the Graham hat. So down here is the twisted rib. Up here is a broken twisted rib, I guess, is what I'll technically call it, because that's what I did. I really like the way it came out. And I was talking to Vince because there's a part of the pattern where at the end it refers to the side that you've been knitting on the entire time as the wrong side. So I flipped it inside out and I'm like, well, maybe. So I looked at it on the inside and honestly, I get it because it looks really nice on what I thought was the wrong side the whole time too. So that is going to be a Christmas gift. It needs to be blocked a little bit to get the little point out of the top, but I think once it's blacked, it'll be very nice.
Great.
Now, that was everything.
That is that. So, again, do all those YouTube internet things.
Yes, the YouTube
subscribe,
internet. Subscribe, not follow. Subscribe. Hit the
thumbs
like
up
or the thumbs down. Either one.
We prefer the thumbs up.
I mean, if there was a middle finger, we'd say hit the middle finger.
You know.
I didn't do that. Don't want to get censored.
Yeah, that would be a good thing.
Ring the notification bell so that you get notified when we get our next episode up there.
Mm-hmm.
What else can they do?
Follow us on social media. We are on Facebook, we are on Instagram and Twitter, and we have a Ravelry page.
Yes, go join our Ravelry group.
Yes, our Ravelry group is kind of low in numbers, and that's going to be our information center.
Yeah,
as we start doing things, if we do any specials or contests or knit along,
and that's where our show notes are every time.
Yes, and that's
so
where the show notes
anything
are.
that you see us talk about in here, we don't put it necessarily right in the description, but I usually try to at least. I don't know if I've been putting the link. I'll go back and look, but
I think you've been putting a link to the Ravelry page.
I'll make sure that I put a link this time. I can't remember if I did before, but I'll make sure I put a link to it this time, so that you could just click there and it'll take you right to our group.
Mm-hmm. That's about it. If there is anything that you would like us to talk about, if there's something you want to know more about that we might have brought up, we are going to be doing more episodes to specific things like the men's retreats, the knitting guild. We'll be doing an episode on that. Just those specific things. If it's ever safe to go out in public, we might do a trip to a yarn store.
Yes.
So when when it's not so great a chance that we'll get cooties if we go out.
Right.
Don't want those corona cooties.
So when the Canadian border hopefully opens again, there's the one podcast that I know I watch. I don't know if you've been watching it. It's the Little Red Mitten. The Little Red Mitten.
No, I have not
They're
seen
the
that
two
one.
girls. Oh, you have to watch them. You'll love them. They own the Little Red Mitten yarn shop in St. Thomas, Ontario, which is, Google Maps, it's less than 2.5 hours from us.
Okay, and I know a couple people who in Ontario who own yarn stores. Jack has one.
Yes, our friend Jack has one.
One of the other guys from the Eastern Mountain Retreat, he has a yarn shop. So we could always do a road trip.
And we could do a little day trip and yarn shop hop.
Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And because one of the men's retreats, the first North retreat in Canada, was outside of Guelph, which is just this hip little city, and it has a couple of really nice yarn shops. I wouldn't mind going back there.
Yeah, definitely.
These are all the things we're thinking of, once the borders open, if and when that ever happens, please, soon God.
Yeah, we want to.
But that is about it.
Speaking of which,
you had a thought.
I did.
I thought I smelled smoke.
A little bit, and I'm not cooking. So the one thing I did want to mention, I'm not gonna get overly political. We're not gonna blah blah blah. I'm not gonna say vote for this person, vote for that person. Like, whatever, that's your choice. But I do want to say, because this will be going up on Friday, and Election Day will be the following Tuesday. So I do want to say, if you haven't already, make sure that you go out and vote. As a lot of people have said on social media lately, vote like your life depends on it, because it just might.
Yeah. I went and did early voting on Monday. In line, going in, voting, and getting out took me all of 55 minutes. Every second of it was well worth it to me.
And honestly, that's one of the longer times that I've heard of. at this point?
Well, North Buffalo has had kind of
That's a very busy.
Yeah, it is
very busy area.
But like Justin said, we both have our opinions on who should be elected, but use your right to vote. Every vote matters. If a single vote didn't matter, there would be no such thing as voter suppression, and we are unfortunately seeing that. And I am 62 years old. I've been voting every year since I was 18, so I voted for numerous presidential elections, quite a number of them.
Carry the 9.
Yeah, to the nth power. So this has got to be the most important election that I ever voted in. So make your voice heard and do your civic duty and get out and vote.
And until next time, we're the Boozie Bears Knitting
Podcast.
That could be like our 9-inch circular needle.
I don't think we could get close.
No, I don't
to
think
your
I
phone to
don't
do
think I
that.
could. Maybe someday we'll get a microphone and then
we can do that, because
we
otherwise
can be like Ray.
Somebody would fall over the coffee table and
fall into the coffee table.
And neither of us needs an emergency room trip. So
all right. Until next time, guys.
We will see you in 2 weeks.
In a fortnight. Speaking of needles at the ready.
Those guys.
Those boys.
Those guys. They're so nice.
Boys.
We like them.
All right. We're just dragging this out now.
Yes, we are.
All right, everybody.
Be safe,
Bye.
and we will see you soon. Bye now.